History reimagined. That is what Busch Gardens Williamsburg has decided to do for their debut of their new, for 2025 roller coaster, Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge. For those that are unaware, Big Bad Wolf originally opened in 1984 as an aerodynamics suspended roller coaster. It operated for 25 years before retiring in 2009 due to this model being such a rarity, on top of the fact that the manufacturer of this ride no longer existed. In its replace was Verbolten, which debuted in 2012, which in itself paid homage to the former attraction, which its ending half of the ride being the exact same layout as the predecessor Big Bad Wolf. But in 2025, we now have a reimagining of that entire attraction as a B&M family inverted roller coaster. And may I just say, they did a fantastic job. Holy smokes, Busch Gardens has done it again with some incredible attention to detail. There is so much artwork, there's some fantastic infrastructure and architecture layered throughout the station and queue line that is just absolutely beautiful. Seeing this just tells me more that Pantheon looks the way it is due to the complications that were created because of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Because we had a gradual increase of thematic material in 2023 with the debut of Dark Coaster. And then now looking at this for 2025, this is fantastic. There is so much beauty throughout this. The queue line looks fantastic. There's a lot to just take in and look throughout this. And even more so, with all the theming that has been placed during the ride itself. I never got the chance to ride the original Big Bad Wolf, but just judging from my experience riding this new one and looking at videos of the old one, there is actually more theming for this ride than there was on the old ride. That is always a positive. The Bavarian Village looks fantastic and it even lights up at night. The paint job looks absolutely beautiful. But there's more than just the village. There are some other details throughout the ride that you'll see. I love the picnics that they have towards the end of this ride. That is really cool. On top of just how beautiful the trains look, I love the wolf eyes, which also look really cool at night as they kind of guide your way as you just storm through this Bavarian village. So overall, the theming and architecture and attention to detail have really just brought the story of the wolf trampling through this Bavarian village to life, and it looks absolutely stunning. The queue line itself, surprisingly, like with Pantheon, is definitely on the smaller side. So if you notice that the ride is full queued, that will roughly be between 45 to 60 minutes of wait time between if the queue line is completely full from the entrance to the station. As of when I rode the ride, which was during the first ever membership preview, this ride is going to be very, very popular, as this line stretched all the way back to Fest House. So something to keep in mind, if this ride is very much an interest for you to ride or take your kid on, definitely make sure you rope drop this and make it your first ride. Either that or try to time it towards the end of the park. But be advised, if the line is really long, just like they did with us, if the line gets too long, they will shut down the line early. So keep that in mind if you notice that there's a long line that has been consistent throughout the day while you're at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I do appreciate that while this may not be a suspended roller coaster, that they did go with an inverted coaster, and it does have 2 lift hills with a ride time that's quite similar to the original Big Bad Wolf. This is my first ever B&M family inverted roller coaster. I have not been on Phoenix Rising. However, just from hearing what enthusiasts have had to say about Phoenix Rising, I am happy to say that this ride is not like that and is 100% smooth. This ride is very, very smooth. This ride is very, very enjoyable for the most part. I will say, if you are a larger guest like me that has larger legs, while it is comfortable to sit in the ride, the restraints are designed for smaller ones to ride. And so the lap bar comes up, but then it comes in just a little bit, and that little portion pinches down in the middle of my thighs, which I didn't really notice too much during the ride. It just instantly, I noticed that. Also, just took note of while the ride was open for membership previews is that larger guests will have a harder time fitting on this ride because, as I just mentioned, this ride is specifically designed for smaller ones in mind, so that way the younger ones can have a good time with their parents, as you can be 40 inches to ride with an adult and 48 inches to ride by themselves, which Busch Gardens nailed with having another family-friendly roller coaster at this park, which now makes 5 of their 11 roller coasters family-friendly, which just overall enhances what the park is trying to do to balance between thrills and a bunch of other things to do, because this park is more than just the thrill coasters. And you really get that with the experience of Big Bad Wolf. So while thrill seekers may not be too much interested in riding this ride is perfect in its market for families and younger ones to have a roller coaster that they can ride, especially for someone that's trying to get into roller coasters. The ride itself is very gentle. The drops are a lot of fun that have some floaty moments to it, and there are some great banked turns. What I was really impressed with this ride was there was some surprising moments of positive G-forces. The most that I felt was actually as you run through the Bavarian Village. There was definitely some great positive G moments that I originally was not expecting. There was also some decent floating moments, whether it be through some of the bank turns that were raised a little bit higher, or just some other maneuvers and transitions as well. I was also generally surprised and thrilled when this ride stays very, very low to the ground, especially towards the ending sequence of the ride, where you really feel like you're really close to those picnic tables towards the end of the ride. So that was much to be appreciated. But this ride doesn't go too fast, so you can take everything in. On top of the fact that there's an amazing soundtrack onboard audio that is present with this ride to just add energy and atmosphere to the ride itself. So generally throughout the entire ride, I had a smile on my face. And I know for a fact, especially judging from just the reactions of people that were getting off the ride, this is a crowd pleaser. So a lot of those that grew up with the Big Bad Wolf that now want to have that similar experience with their kids, or just to experience and maybe reminisce on their childhood, get to ride something that may not be exactly the original model, but definitely feels like it does well in paying homage and even maybe enhances further the experience and storyline that is being told through this ride. And I couldn't be more happy and satisfied. While I know there are some enthusiasts that are very disappointed that there is no thrill-seeking roller coaster, keep in mind there are 6 thrilling roller coasters at this park, and this now adds 5 family-friendly roller coasters at this park, and I couldn't be happier to say that this ride delivers in every single way that it was trying to accomplish. So thank you guys so much for watching this review of Big Bad Wolf: The Wolf's Revenge. If you made it through the end of the video and you find yourself enjoying the video, I'd very much appreciate it if you give this video a big old thumbs up, as this helps the channel continue to grow. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, why not hit the subscribe button? That way you never miss a video here on the Coaster Fanatic. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, roller coaster fanatics, keep coasting.